When you think of the Mughal Empire, it's easy to just picture conquerors and powerful rulers. But they were so much more than that. They were absolute master builders, visionaries who used stone and marble to tell these incredible stories of power, of love, and of legacy. What they left behind is this stunning tapestry of architecture that, honestly, still defines India's heritage today.
Okay, so to really get this story, we've got to go back a bit. Back to this mighty fortress that kind of set the stage for one of the world's greatest wonders. So, we're starting at the Agra Fort. Long before the white marble of the Taj Mahal ever graced the skyline, this place rose up from the banks of the Yamuna River. But this building wasn't about elegance or beauty, no way. This was a raw, unfiltered projection of military might. It was a fortress designed to scream, "We are in charge."
And I mean, what a fortress it was. Just try to imagine this. 20-meter-high walls. That's like a 6-story building stretching for 2.5 kilometers around. This wasn't just a fort. It was literally a city inside a city. Emperor Akbar imagined the sprawling complex made of red sandstone, packed with a maze of palaces, mosques, and huge halls. It was the ultimate symbol of absolute power.
But, empires evolve, and so do the people who run them. So let's see how this fortress of power started to change under a new emperor who had a very different eye for design. So, Akbar's grandson, Shah Jahan, he had a totally different vibe. Where his grandfather saw strength in that big, imposing red sandstone, Shah Jahan saw beauty in delicate, almost heavenly white marble. He actually started adding his own buildings inside the Agra fort, slowly transforming parts of this military stronghold into a palace of pure elegance. This switch from red stone to white marble, it's a huge turning point in Mughal architecture.
And then, a personal tragedy became the spark for something immortal. In 1631, Shah Jahan's favorite wife, Mumtaz Mahal, died. He was completely heartbroken. So he channeled all of that grief into a project the world had never seen before, a mausoleum that would be a monument to their love forever. Construction started just a year later, and the main tomb itself was finished in a little over 10 years.
But look, this wasn't just about making something beautiful. Shah Jahan wanted to build a literal mountain of marble right on the bank of the Yamuna River, which was, notoriously unstable. So the big question is, how on earth did his engineers actually pull that off?
Right? This was the central challenge. The sheer weight of the Taj Mahal on that soft, riverside soil, it could have been a total disaster. I mean, one wrong move and the whole thing could sink or crack or even get washed away by floods. The solution had to be just as brilliant as the monument itself.
So the engineers turned to this really clever, traditional technique, well foundations. The basic idea is pretty genius. You dig these deep, hollow wells into the ground, going way down until you hit a more stable layer of soil. Then, you fill them up to create a series of incredibly strong pillars that can hold up a massive weight.
Now this is where it gets really interesting. Look at the materials they used. They sunk shafts made of ebony and mahogany. We're talking about woods known for being super durable, and filled them with this mix of rubble, iron, and mortar. Then they packed in a thick layer of gravel to stop water from the river from seeping in. This wasn't just a foundation, it was a masterfully engineered platform, designed to make sure Shah Jahan's monument would stand forever.
And to bring this vision to life, well, it took a staggering amount of human effort. More than 20,000 artisans and laborers were brought in from all across India, Persia, and even parts of Europe. It was this massive international undertaking that brought together the best craftspeople in the entire world.
Okay, so we've got the incredible engineering that's holding this whole thing up. Now let's zoom in on the breathtaking artistry that makes these buildings true wonders of the world.
The signature art form of Shah Jahan's time is called pietra dura. It's an Italian term that means hard stone. And it's this incredibly delicate process where artists cut and shape these tiny pieces of semi-precious stones, things like lapis lazuli, jade, carnelian, and then fit them perfectly into a marble base to create these stunning, intricate designs. It's basically like painting with stone.
Let's see this in action. Okay, so we're starting wide here. This is from the Agra Fort. From this far away, the walls and arches almost look like they're painted, right? But every single one of those lines, every curve, is actually a different tiny piece of inlaid stone.
As we get a little closer, you really start to appreciate the detail. Just look at the flowing floral patterns over this archway. The craftsmanship is so precise that the white marble base becomes just as important as the colored stones. It all works together in perfect harmony.
And at the Taj Mahal, wow, this is where the art form hit its absolute peak. The designs became even more delicate, more free-flowing. You can tell the artisans had perfected their craft, creating these patterns that look like they're growing right out of the marble itself.
Now check out this extreme close-up. This is just incredible. You can actually see the individual pieces. Each one is meticulously cut and polished to fit so perfectly that you can't see any gaps. It really truly is like painting with jewels.
And to give you an idea of how insane this work is, get this. One analysis found that a single floral pattern in an area smaller than a credit card was made up of 102 individual pieces of stone. It's just astounding. So from a military fortress to a jewel box mausoleum, what's the lasting impact of all this? Let's zoom back out one last time.
Ultimately, the Taj Mahal and the Agra Fort are so much more than just pretty buildings. They represent this incredible cultural fusion of Persian, Indian, and Central Asian styles. They're monuments to a perfect marriage of artistic vision and engineering genius. And today, of course, they're UNESCO World Heritage Sites and powerful, enduring symbols of India's rich history and boundless ingenuity.
It really leaves you with a final thought, doesn't it? What does it take for a building to tell a story that echoes for centuries? It clearly takes more than just stone and mortar. It takes a powerful human story, whether it's about ambition or about love, and the unbelievable skill to turn that story into something so beautiful and so masterfully built that it simply transcends time itself.